Let's talk about something that quietly costs businesses an absolute fortune. It's called executive regret. We're going to dive into why it happens and, more importantly, a powerful framework designed to put a stop to it. So let me ask you a question right out of the gate. What is the real price your organization pays when a key leader hesitates, or worse, makes the wrong call? And this isn't some philosophical question. There's a hard number attached to it. We're talking about over $240,000. And that's just the minimum quantifiable cost of a single failed executive hire. But, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. So let's really break this down. That $240,000 figure, it isn't some worst-case scenario. It's actually a symptom of a much deeper problem that can silently be draining value from your company every single day. And it turns out, this is practically a silent epidemic. A staggering 85% of leaders say they suffer from something called decision distress. So if you've ever felt that immense pressure, that second guessing, you are definitely not alone. It's the norm. So what is decision distress anyway? Well, it's that state of analysis paralysis. It's being completely stuck, just debating options over and over. And it doesn't just slow you down, it tanks efficiency. And maybe worst of all, it totally erodes your team's confidence in your leadership. And you can see how this just creates this massive ripple effect. That analysis paralysis we just talked about, it tanks performance. That one strategic mishire, bam, there's your direct $240,000 hit. But then look at the wider impact, employee disengagement. We're talking an estimated $550 billion a year in lost productivity across industries. It's a massive, destructive chain reaction. Now, what's really interesting here is that this isn't always about outside factors like the market or bad data. A lot of the time, the root cause is actually an internal battle, a conflict with what some psychologists call our inner cognitive saboteurs. And this framework pinpoints three main culprits that are basically waging a war in your mind during those big, high-stakes decisions. You've got the perfectionist, the fearful part, and the inner critic. And here's how they team up to create the perfect storm of inaction. The perfectionist part of your brain demands an impossible, risk-free, perfect result. Meanwhile, the fearful part wants to avoid making any choice at all just to prevent embarrassment, and then the inner critic comes in and just hammers you with doubt, telling you you're not good enough to make the right call anyway. So if the problem is literally rooted in how our brains are wired, then it stands to reason the solution has to be too, right? This is where we shift away from abstract business theories and move into the applied science of how our brains can actually achieve clarity. This is a fundamental shift in how we approach leadership. It's about moving away from relying purely on gut feel and guesswork, which, let's be honest, just leads to anxiety, and moving towards a method that's grounded in neuroscience. The goal is to get better at prediction and to make decisions with real confidence. I mean, think about it. Since the problem is baked into our own behavioral biases, any effective solution has to be built on what we actually know about how the brain works. The whole idea is to use a system that is scientific and, most importantly, evidence-based. Okay, so what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it all comes down to using specific, actionable frameworks that give you the tools for clearer, more consistent, high-impact judgment. You're essentially building a new mental operating system. For example, by learning how to spot and reduce common cognitive biases, you're not just making better choices yourself, you're literally upgrading the decision-making culture for your entire organization. It's a complete toolkit for navigating today's leadership challenges. And this is where it all ties back to shutting down those inner saboteurs. See, a smart accountability system, that's not about playing the blame game. It's about creating a clear process that completely disarms the perfectionist's fear of regret. And by actively reducing biases, you're starving the inner critic of the blind spots it needs to survive. It's about using process to rewire our own internal struggles. The whole point of a framework like this isn't just to learn a new trick. It's about developing a truly durable, consistent, and powerful approach to leadership. And because of that, access to this kind of deep training, it's got to be limited. Right. To make sure the quality of the program and the coaching is world-class, access is kept small on purpose. It's all about maintaining a super focused learning environment for leaders who are truly committed to making this change. And to maintain that high-touch, high-impact facilitator-to-participant ratio that this kind of work demands, every cohort is kept really small. To give you an idea, there are currently only 7 seats left in the next group. Now, look, if there's any hesitation about the investment, that is completely understandable. So to take that concern right off the table, the program comes with an absolute 30-day money-back guarantee. It completely removes the financial risk for you. And this really puts the decision into sharp perspective, doesn't it? On one hand, with the guarantee, your direct financial risk for trying the program is 0. On the other hand, without a new framework, that potential cost of a bad decision, that $240,000 mistake, that risk is still very much on the table. So with the financial risk completely gone, the decision really shifts. The only factor left is the massive opportunity cost of doing nothing, of just sticking with the status quo and hoping things get better on their own. So the frameworks are built on science. The financial risk has been completely removed, and the potential for a whole new level of leadership clarity is right there. The only question left is, are you ready to lead with that kind of unshakable, scientifically grounded confidence?